Hey sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. While it does not match the popularity or value of the previous Goudey releases, 1935 Goudey remains a much more affordable option for collecting the biggest names in vintage baseball. The 4-in-1 format is not the preferred route for many collectors, but it's hard to argue with names like Babe Ruth, Jimmy Fox, and Dizzy Dean. Commonly known as 4-in-1 or Goudey puzzle cards, 1935 Goudey cards measure 2 3/8 by 2 7/8 inches. The 36 card release is largely grouped by team, but several cards combine players from multiple teams. The set is officially designated R321. Featuring 4 different player images on a single card and separated by a colored border, the 1935 Goudey design does feel a little awkward. Many of the images are cropped versions of the artistic renderings found on the 1933 Goudey cards. 30 of the cards feature a red border and frame, and the remaining 6 showcase a blue border. The last name and team are noted for each player, although there is no uniformity to how the text is displayed. In many examples, the text appears just forced into the image area wherever it would fit without obstructing the player. Although the checklist totals 36 cards and 144 players, the complete set is much larger when you take into account the card backs. Instead of a traditional back, the 1935 Goudey set features a portion of a larger image and can be combined to form 9 different pictures. The pictures include the following: the Detroit Tigers team, Chuck Klein, Frankie Frisch, Mickey Cochran, Joe Cronin, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, the Cleveland Indians team, and the Washington Senators team. Because each card can be found with 3 or 4 different backs, the master set is actually 114 cards, and over 1/3 of the cards are short prints. The card featuring Babe Ruth can be found with the backs for 4 pictures, including the Detroit Tigers team, Frankie Frisch, Mickey Cochran, and Joe Cronin. Each card back includes a number and letter combination that specifies the picture and the location. In this video, I'm going to show the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1935 Goudey set based on their PSA 3 values. I'll also give the values of those cards in higher grades, as well as the population count of those grades. Now, as a side note, because some cards have very low population counts, the values in some grades might not reflect current prices, since it may be a year or 2 or even more since a copy in that grade has been sold. Also, the population counts factor in all the different versions of a card. Now, before I get to the top 10, here are the cards that just missed the top 10. At number 15, the Spore Rame Cantwell Benton card. At number 14, the Piet Komorowski Bottomley Adams card. At number 13, the Barry Burke Cress Vance card. At number 12, the Earnshaw Dykes Sewell Appling card. And at number 11, the Grimes Klein Kyler English card. So, which cards made the top 10 list? Let's go find out. Coming in at number 10, we have the Kreitz Bartell Ott Mancuso card. In a PSA 3, there have been 27 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $127. There have been 37 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $225. There have been 26 graded a PSA 5. They sell for around $380. There have been 16 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $372. There have been 4 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $528. And there have been 5 graded a PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $4,295. And just like every card on the top 10 list, there has not been a PSA 9 or 10 graded copy of the Kreitz Bartell Ott Mancuso card. At number 9, we have the Cochrane Garinger Bridges Rogel card. In a PSA 3, there have been 20 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $133. There have been 38 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $300. There have been 18 graded a PSA 5. The last PSA 5 sale was for $123. There have been 13 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $325. There have been 6 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $1,110. And there have been 3 graded a PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $4,494. Coming in at number 8, we have the Wayner Bush Hoyt Wayner card. In a PSA 3, there have been 23 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $150. There have been 31 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $250. There have been 33 graded a PSA 5. They sell for around $725. There have been 12 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $400. There have been 14 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $600. And there have been 2 graded a PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $3,585. Coming in at number 7, we have the Rural Simmons Cochrane card. In a PSA 3, there have been 24 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $153. There have been 32 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $180. There have been 23 graded a PSA 5. They sell for around $135. There have been 20 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $380. There have been 7 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $588. And there have been 2 graded a PSA 8. The only PSA 8 sale in VCP's database took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $2,660. At number 6, we have the Trainer Lucas Thievenow Right card. In a PSA 3, there have been 22 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $159. There have been 30 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $172. There have been 19 graded a PSA 5. They sell for around $133. There have been 15 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $234. There have been 3 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $800. And there have been 4 graded a PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in April of 2021 through eBay and sold for $1,330. At number 5, we have the Fox Mahaffey Williams Higgins card. In a PSA 3, there have been 38 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $225. There have been 43 graded a PSA 4. They sell for around $203. There have been 18 graded a PSA 5. They sell for around $348. There have been 17 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $620. There have been 4 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $1,282. And there have been 4 graded a PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $6,867, placing this card at the number 3 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on the top 10 list. At number 4, we have the Fox Greenberg Walker Rao card. In a PSA 3, there have been 30 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $243. There have been 24 graded APSA 4. They sell for around $316. There have been 14 graded APSA 5. They sell for around $450. There have been 8 graded APSA 6. They sell for around $480. There have been 4 graded APSA 7. They sell for around $2,750. And there have been 4 graded APSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through Memory Lane and sold for $4,554, placing this card at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. At number 3, we have the Frisch Dean Orsatti Text Carlton card. In a PSA 3, there have been 27 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $289. There have been 30 graded APSA 4. They sell for around $330. There have been 28 graded APSA 5. They sell for around $328. There have been 11 graded APSA 6. They sell for $424. There have been 5 graded APSA 7. They sell for around $2,880. And there have been 3 graded APSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in July of 2021 through eBay and sold for $6,355, placing this card at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. At number 2 is the Ruffing Malone Lazari Dickey card. In a PSA 3, there have been 22 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $290. There have been 35 graded APSA 4. They sell for around $594. There have been 21 graded APSA 5 with the last sale at $262. There have been 15 graded APSA 6. They sell for around $749. There have been 4 graded APSA 7. They sell for around $1,097. And there has been 1 graded APSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in May of 2020 through Heritage and sold for $6,900, also placing this card at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. And the number 1 most valuable card from the 1935 Goudey set is, yes, the Ruth McManus Brant Moranville card. In a PSA 3, there have been 63 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $3,250. There have been 52 graded APSA 4. They sell for around $2,626. There have been 37 graded APSA 5. They sell for around $3,900. There have been 13 graded APSA 6. They sell for around $5,955. There have been 6 graded APSA 7. They sell for around $8,507. And finally, there have been 4 graded APSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in May of 2020 through Heritage and sold for $24,000, also placing the Ruth 4-in-1 card at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. So there you go, the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1935 Goudey set. As always, would love to know what you think about the set and the cards that made the top 10 list. And stay tuned for next week's episode in which I take a look at the 1938 Goudey set. And if you've missed either of the last 2 videos in this series, you can check them out right here. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.